am Queen Princess Pepito, and this is 24-Minute Afternoon News. Here is the rundown of the top stories at this hour. Historical background of the Butuan and Limasawa controversy will be revealed today. Butuan and Limasawa controversy takes its official government action. Analysis and findings under the Mojares panel on the papers and evidences will be presented. Upon the preparations for the coming 500th year anniversary of Christianization in the Philippines, the National Quincentennial Committee, through its Executive Director, NHCP Chair, Dr. Rene R. Escalante, reopened the case of a controversy in the Philippine history, which is the location of the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines. Broadcasting live for the historical background of the Butuan and Limasawa controversy, Eloisa Flores has the news.
The controversy of the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines in 1521 began in the last years of the 19th century and the early decades of the 20th century. The Butuan tradition in 1872, a monument commemorating the first Mass in the Philippines, was River in what is today the municipality of Magallanes. The Butuan tradition can be traced to the 17th century when the earliest mention of the location of the first Easter Sunday Mass in the Butuan was made in two missionary chronicles. In 1981, William Henry Scott traced what he believed to be Colon's source for his information or misinformation, which was believed a summarized version of the Pegafetta's Bayago Attorno Il Mundo. In 1800s, Carlo Amorete, the prefect and conservator of the Ambrosiana Library in Milan, Italy, published a transcription of the Pegafetta's account from a manuscript found in the library. The Amorete work would become the standard source of the Magellan expedition for almost a century. The popular English translation was by Lord Stanley of Alderley, entitled The First Voyage Around the World by Magellan in 1874. The shift to the Limasawa tradition happened following the publication of the Damusto transcription and the examination of the log of Victoria's pilot. Upon study of these two sources, two Philippine scholars, Trinidad Pardo de Tavera and Father Pablo Pastilles, S.G., concluded that it was a historical error that Butuan was deemed the first site of the first Easter Sunday Mass. The contention lasted for over 3 decades as these proponents wrote to the locals and national governments, including the President, petitioning for these authorities to issue a decision that would transfer the first Easter Sunday Mass site back to Butuan.
Meanwhile, the Butuan and Limasawa controversy takes its official government action. To give us some updates, here is Melin Saliga.
The first official government action taken on this controversy was done through the National Historical Institute in 1980 and was followed by the formation of two more panels in 1995 and 2008. The officially constituted bodies, upon review of the evidence, decided that the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass was on Limasawa Island. In 2018, with a continued clamor by Butuan proponents to present their position papers and the decision by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines to settle the controversy that led to the creation of what came to be called the Mojares panel, in order to review the issue of the location of the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines. Multiple meetings held by the Mojares panel happened in Cebu, Tacloban, and Manila in defining the parameters of the current review. It was decided that since the three previous groups of panels formed to study the Butuan and Limasawa controversy had concluded that the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass was in Limasawa Island in Leyte.
Up next, to resolve the Butuan-Limasawa controversy on the location of the 1521 First Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines, the official analysis and findings under the Mojares panel on the various papers and evidences will be presented. Only here on 24-Minute Afternoon News. Welcome again at the 24-minute afternoon news. To resolve the Butuan Limasawa controversy on the location of the 1521 First Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines, the official analysis and findings under the Mojares panel is now presented. Broadcasting live at the National Historical Commission, here is Eloisa Flores for more information.
The findings and conclusion of the Mojares panel on the various papers and evidences are presented in various presentations. On the Butuan side, the evidence presented by Malvar in his paper that Pigafetta's latitude measurement was part of a plan to conceal the actual location of the first Easter Sunday Mass to protect the route to the Moluccas is based on the conjectures from ideas derived from the secondary sources, including a fictional account of the Magellan expedition. The Taiga paper and Hontiveros article were evaluated based on the quality of the research and use of their primary sources. The panel appraised their evidence and arguments, comparing them with existing information as well as new data obtained by the panel. On the accuracy of the Pigafetta's codices and translations, an examination of the bibliographical sources shows different allegations. Different versions of the manuscript and translations were obtained and were subject for discussion. The panel went over the evidence presented by the Butuan proponents. One of their main points of argument for locating the first Easter Sunday Mass in Butuan was the use of the Yali Beniki manuscript as the more reliable guide to navigational coordinates and transcriptions. Errors were reported regards to the navigational coordinates in determining the exact location which were mentioned in the two main Pigafetta's account. In spite of the problem mentioned, subsequent transcribers and translators of both codices concluded that the island indicated by the coordinate was the Limasawa Island. It is also worth noting that both sides in Limasawa has a vantage point for the seeing of the three islands allegedly seen by the Pigafetta.
For clarification, Ms. Eloisa, does that prove that the exact location of the first Easter Sunday Mass was in Limasawa?
Yes, the panel has concluded that, based on the evidence presented and the research it has conducted in aid of the evaluation, the evidence and arguments presented by the pro-Butuan proponents are commendably serious and substantial, yet it is not sufficiently conclusive. The panel therefore recommends that Limasawa Island in Leyte be sustained as the site of the first Easter Sunday Mass of 1521 and that South Point in Triana is recognized as the site of the cross planted by Magellan and his men.
Then what happens to the Butuan proponents?
The panel, however, recognizes the deep historical significance of the Greater Butuan area as a pre-colonial trading center and base in the Christianization of Mindanao, a significance that transcends the questions of whether or not it is the site of the first Mass. The panel therefore recommends that the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or NHCP, initiate and support the promotion of Butuan as one of the country's premier historic sites.
And that's Eloisa Flores for the Butuan Limasawa controversy update. Thank you, Eloisa. And that was the news with no bias and with no exemptions. From the 24-minute afternoon news team, we are hoping that everyone is in good condition. This is 24-minute afternoon news.